So, got a line of questioning here for you.
All right.
Pokemon Stars. Is it real?
I think it's real. I think it's definitely real.
If you think it's real, when do you think it gets announced? When do you think it gets released? And does it also come to 3DS?
Those are all great questions. I think it'll be announced this year. I don't think it'll be announced at E3. Pokemon typically aren't announced at E3.
They're more of just like a random ass. It's a Tuesday.
Exactly. You can throw it at any time. 2 a.m. Does not matter. That's gonna blow up. So I think it'll be probably announced after E3, maybe late summer, early this fall. Hopefully, I mean, if it's a holiday title, that'd be great. I'm guessing it would be at this point. So, and I would hope it's Switch only. Like if that's the case, this would be the true signal that Nintendo's treating this as their next
We're all in.
dedicated. Yeah, they're all in. Yeah, there's
I absolutely agree with you there, man. Because it's like if they also put this on the 3DS, it's gonna sell super fucking well over there. But that's that safety net that they need to remove if they want to really fully transition and have people believe that this is now the console and the handheld, and this is something that they should dedicate themselves to.
Absolutely. I mean, on a similar line, like it's kind of like the Smash Brothers thing with Smash Brothers 3DS and Wii U. I think that was absolutely the right decision to make. At the same time, I feel like Wii U would have done better had it only come to Wii U. They kind of kneecapped the Wii U by releasing the same game essentially on the 3DS
First.
Exactly. That's right. Bingo.
Yeah. Like
so they need to avoid that
before,
again.
right?
Yeah.
I think
6 months before, or 3 months before.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
It was so long ago. It felt like it wasn't. It felt like there wasn't that long between the two, but maybe there was. But so that's the other thing. Smash Bros.
Yep. Man. So I don't see it coming this year. So I would hope, but they tend to announce Smash Brothers pretty far in advance. So I do think they may show it off at E3. I don't think it's coming this year though. We're already getting 3 big multiplayer games this year in the forms of Mario Kart, ARMS, and Splatoon 2. I don't think they're gonna unload their last biggest multiplayer game in the same year.
Do you think that it's a port though?
I think it's a port. I think well, I say that loosely. I think it's going to be a port in the same vein 3DS and Wii U were. It's going to be a port of the Wii U version with some new characters, new stages, and hopefully more, all the content of the 3DS.
So is it like the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe type of
basically,
port?
Right.
So Definitive Edition, whatever the fuck it's called.
Ice Climbers?
And then, Ice Climbers for sure. And like maybe a character or two more.
Yeah.
And then it comes out in early. I could see the somewhere between January and March next year. That totally makes sense to me. Now, looking at all of this, we know we're getting a whole bunch of Wii U ports. Most of them already announced. We're missing a couple. Smash, Mario Maker.
Treasure Tracker.
Treasure Tracker.
Give me Treasure Tracker!
My thing with Captain Toad is I almost feel like they would just make a new one.
Okay.
On the Switch.
I'd allow that. I'll allow that, Mr. Nintendo.
Yeah, like I feel like that's the type of game that like at that point porting that it is a little bit like wow you were.
I
understand.
I agree with you. It's just Treasure Tracker, a great game that so many people missed.
Absolutely,
it's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
And I do think it's small enough though that they can just make more. Like make a sequel and like kind of like Splatoon 2 where it's just like it everyone thought it was a port and is it a port? No, it's a new game, but it's like really it's not like that much of an increase, right? And I think Captain Toad could be the same thing. But so we're dealing with all the ports. We're running out of things that I think that they would port on Wii U besides Smash, Mario Maker, and that's probably it.
That's a big question, right? Like they're already just in general in terms of their own IPs, they're burning through them pretty quick.
Yeah,
like they're working their way through these at a rapid pace.
If they were to do that, we get those. Let's assume that they do announce a Mario Maker for Switch and a Super Smash Bros. For Switch. Those come out, we would imagine, all before June next year. Then what do they do? Because if they've already had their Mario Kart and Smash, because if you're going to port them over, do we expect to get Mario Kart 9 and the next Super Smash Bros. In this console's life cycle? Yeah,
so Mario Kart I could see. Smash Brothers, I think this will be a one. I think the Switch version will be it. I think it will be more than just a. I think it'll be more of a definitive version than the Mario Kart 8 is. I think they will pump it up enough that it will feel like kind of its own.
It'll feel like a new game.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think Smash will be good. Mario Kart could definitely see another one, especially because they are keeping the exact branding. Like I figure for Smash, it'll be Super Smash Bros. Switch.
Yep,
like
absolutely.
That's just like Wii U and 3DS. But Mario Kart, they're very clearly sticking to this is Mario Kart 8, just with a little bit more content. So yeah, I definitely expect another Mario Kart in this generation.
How long till another Mario Golf?
That man, it hasn't been that long since the last one. And
but it was DS or 3DS. But I mean, it was 3DS. Let's get a console.
I don't really even count it, but it wasn't that good. So.
What?
the
88 hours disagree.
Oh my god,
that was amazing.
Oh,
the best part was sitting there every morning playing with Mitch. We had a golf tee time every day. Now you can do it with the Switch. Tim, we could do it with the Switch.
We could.
I do want a new Mario Golf though. Like I love the 64 and GameCube one.
Oh, yeah, so, of course. Yeah.
I mean, I need my cinematic opening, man. I need the context.
Yeah, I understand. Why are they golfing?
What's happening? What's going on?
Now I need a golf bat and I need an Animal Crossing bat.
Oh, that's
Animal Crossing. Yeah.
I feel like that would be a perfect December title this year, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think
this year.
Yeah,
I feel like that'd be too stacked.
I don't think it'd be. I think if Xenoblade ends up not coming out this year, I think that'd be a perfect filler instead. I don't think it's happening though. I do think it'll come next year.
Yeah,
and that is going to be huge. Yeah, a portable console Animal Crossing. That is going to be nuts. Like that and Pokemon, I feel like will really kind of steal the deal on the Switch.
Exactly, and I think that we're getting to the point where it's like that. The first year they're doing a good job with enough solid games to at least get them sold, but it's like you don't drop the big bombs until there's units out there so that people buy it, and that's why I think they need to get Pokemon Stars out exclusively on Switch ASAP,
right?
Like this year, so that they can start working on the next gen if they haven't already started working on the next gen of Pokemon, so that when they release that, it is to an audience big enough to sell the amount of units the Pokemon sells, and we've seen it even on the 3DS. Anytime there's a Pokemon game, core Pokemon game. It's going to be in the top 10 on NPD every fucking month, you know?
Forever. Yeah.
Forever. Yeah. And the other thing to keep in mind about Nintendo titles is they never drop in price.
They don't.
Ever.
No.
So if you keep the high adoption rate that they got right now with the Switch and you keep those games, they're going to be making a lot of money off that shit.
I mean, I think it's going to be a fascinating holiday season for them. Because even right now, let's say E3, they announced all this stuff, but it's still holiday season. It's beyond holiday season, I should say. And, you know, Odyssey is what we get or whatever. Like, by the time you get there, the fires are being stoked so consistently right now, right? You were telling that story about the barbershop yesterday, where, like, they was, like, a normal-ass barbershop with normal people. They were like, Best Buy's got Switches. Really? And everybody, like, panicked and, like, tried to run out.
Some dude next to me that was getting his haircut was like, hey, if I were to leave right now and get it, could I come back? And then the barber was like, sorry, I'm booked all day. I can't do it.
It's not.
It's not a mid haircut.
It's not fever pitch by any means like Wii was, where my mom wanted it after Thanksgiving. But I think by the time you get to Christmas and you like, we've all been talking so positively about this in the year, and if they can get them on shelves, and
it's
like
a slow burn. Yeah.
Exactly. I really think they're going to sell a ton of units, and that's when the door really opens up for next year and that next calendar year of 2018 to really have these games.
That's what's really scary to me is that. Let's say they do all that stuff and Nintendo's back, quote unquote. Like it's hard to look at what 2018 even could look like. And 2019, it's like when they've done so much of their franchises this year, like especially dropping a major Zelda and a major Mario in the same year. Like, holy shit.
That's crazy.
You know?
And my two favorite IPs within 10 months of each other, 9 months.
And that's going to be crazy. So then the question becomes like, all right, maybe they'll have a couple new IP. They probably will in like the range of the ARMS is or the Splatoons is and whatever.
Real quick, Tio, do you believe in ARMS?
I'm a believer. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I had fun with it in January. So the thing I'm hesitant on is like how much replayability does it have? That's one thing I'm a little bit unsure of. But I had a lot of fun with it.
I make fun of it every time Tim talks about it, but then he's always like, "It's fun. I had fun."
It looks dumb. I mean, I'll sure admit it looks silly, but it's fun.
And that's the thing. As somebody who hasn't played it, I'm just shit.
Splatoon had a kind of similar thing, right? You see that as like that's weird, and then you play it like this is awesome. This is really fun. So
how successful is Splatoon 2 going to be? You think?
I think it'll be huge. Yeah. I think, especially in Japan. I think it'll be big here. I think it'll be huge in Japan.
I think the way the Switch is going to benefit Splatoon 2 so much. We were talking about this yesterday of like life to in the grand scheme of things. We think it'll sell Splatoon 1. I think it's the fact that you have lapsed Nintendo fans like me, right, who actually feel a connection to the system for the first time since I guess 64, really.
Wow, yeah.
And it's like. I didn't give Splatoon the time of day on Wii U because I just did not like my Wii U. But I heard Fran never shuts up about it. Parent never shuts up about it. Oh yeah, they love it. And so like it's coming out and I'm like, well yeah, there's not that much going on. There's other games, don't get me wrong, but like this is a AAA Nintendo one. So yeah, I'll play this on a plane. I'll see what the hell's all about.
And that's kind of what I keep going back to is I do feel like with the Switch and when like yesterday or last week on the Gamescast with Andrew.
We recorded these in a weird order.
When we were looking at all the Wii U top selling titles, like it was interesting to know that 13 million Wii U sold and the top 10, there was so many that were like above 2 million sold, which is
a great attach rate.
A great attach rate when you compare it to a system like the PS4 that sells way, way, way more, but its top selling games aren't, statistically near the same thing. And I wonder that if the Switch can kind of pull that off on a bigger scale, and if their release schedule is less dry than the Wii U's was, then I think that a lot of people will be like, you know what, I'm going to give ARMS a shot. I'm going to buy ARMS.
100%.
I'm also going to buy Splatoon, and that adoption rate could just stay.
That's the thing it's the exact same argument everybody made and I made and developers made about the Vita. Where people who owned a Vita bought Vita games. And sure, there's a bunch of people outside who are like, oh, Vita's dead, blah, blah, blah. But it was this like constant stream of indies that kept you engaged. And that's without, I'm talking about the end of its life cycle, without having a AAA game. So to have it be that like if they can do it, like right now, it's every week, it seems like there's another great fucking indie game out. Even if that tapers off and slows down, it's still going to be enough that you're turning on your Switch, you're thinking about your Switch, you're packing your Switch. And then, it's going to be that, well, fuck yeah, ARMS is out, why not? I don't want to do this. And then it is the fact of cart's here, and now I can fucking play Mario Kart 8 on the TV, and I can go to PAX, and I can sit in the beanbags and have people gathered around me and fuck around with their Switches and play. Like, that's the game changer for me.
It really is. Yeah, and the Switch almost feels like a Trojan horse in some ways because you want to take it places that people can play like Mario Kart with you, for instance. But like while you're playing it, hey, why not show you something else I may not have shown you otherwise? Like all these other games you have right on the system with you. Yeah. It's like it just feels like a really good way to. It just feels like a very shareable console. Like it's not as explicitly social as the Wii was, but it kind of is in a way. So like even my dad is like playing Zelda. He does not play games at all, and he was super engrossed by it.
And that's like there's so many little things that I think are really smart about it that seem stupid at first. Like the Joy-Cons and how I'm like, oh, these ugly little thing. But it's like, release a cool color. Yeah, I'll buy it. And then I have another controller. Yep. And then it is, hey, come over and play kart. Oh yeah, I guess I have 4 controllers. You be this, I'll put them in the Joy-Con grip. We'll do all these different things. Like there's all these weird little ways around it where it's like, it actually incentivizes me to, I'll buy another Joy-Con. Sure, you put out a cool color.
Right. It's kind of evil in a way almost.
Yeah.
Taking my $80 every day.
So Mario Odyssey.
Stoked.
The next big question. Do you think that it will do to Mario what Breath of the Wild did to Zelda?
Dude, I hope so. Like I've been saying for years, I want a return to the Mario 64 style of gameplay, and it seems like that's what we're getting. Like they straight up said in the reveal, like we're going back to Mario 64 and Sunshine. The thing is though, for me, I always find that like a little bit weird because a lot of people like equate those two games together, whereas for me, like I thought those two games couldn't be more different at the time.
Really?
Because Mario 64 was truly open. You go into a world, you have like 10 things you can do, go off, do what you want. Sunshine kept the same size of the worlds, but gave it to only do one objective at a time. So that's where I felt like that's what started the path down the more linear route they went. And to be fair, I ended up loving those games too. Galaxy I love.
Absolutely.
3D Land and 3D World are fine games.
Other major difference, don't forget, is that 64 was good and Mario Sunshine sucked.
Yeah, that's.
I would not go that far. Man. But I mean, you're right. 64 is better, like way better. Not even a fucking question better.
I'm on the same page as Greg here. Yep.
Thank God Colin doesn't work here anymore.
With Sunshine, like what was it that you didn't like about it?
I felt like it was too much. It didn't feel Mario enough for me, I think. I mean, part of it was like it was a step back from 64, where I thought 64 did so well. But the whole Flood thing, I didn't like the controls for Flood. I didn't like what it added to the game. I thought it took away from the game. The best parts of that game were when you didn't have Flood.
And it was so good. And that is, you can totally see where the 3D Land, 3D World, Galaxy style came in. I fucking love that shit.
Those were great. Like, you're right. They basically built whole games around that. The camera was terrible. Yep. I didn't think, and the presentation was god awful. The voice acting.
My thing was the hub world, Delfino Island.
That was cool.
It was cool, but it never gave. I mean, the castle is just so perfect.
I mean, that's
true, and it's like that is what I hope that one day we go back to. Like I remember in Mario Galaxy 1, like the thing I liked least about it was the Comet Observatory or whatever the fuck it was called. Just the hub world of Galaxy, and it's just like this is really boring, and it is totally. I'm going up different levels, and like there we are, and remind me more of like Crash Bandicoot, just like you're in this hub.
Well, you should have loved it then, right?
Oh no, I love Crash, but I mean like
you don't want Crash in your Mario, right?
Yeah, comparing like Peach's castle to the warp room in fucking Crash is like.
That's kind of interesting. Like Mario Galaxy is one of my favorite Mario games. I love those games, but the hub, I agree, wasn't that great in that game.
Yeah.
And Mario Galaxy 2 basically did away with the hub entirely,
which was, I thought, a great idea because they're like, you know what, we can't do better. Let's just fucking get them into the game.
Like I agree. Like I thought that was a good idea. Like I wish there were a great hub, but the fact what they had worked, and I was fine with it.
So with Odyssey, like I think, and I was talking about this a couple months ago on the show, that I think that Galaxy was the Breath of the Wild of the Mario franchise, where it's like, in terms of the 3D platformer versions of it.
Different direction, you mean? Or
just in terms of like Mario is about the physics and how it feels, right? And I think that Galaxy adding the gravity was a game changer in the way that opening Zelda was.
Right, I gotcha.
So I don't know that Mario Odyssey can have that like same type of effect on people, but I do think that if they nail the 64 vibe, that will be the biggest success Nintendo could ever have. I don't know that they can do that though.
It's tough. I mean, I think like when I saw the trailer, the new Mario Odyssey trailer, I don't think I've been that excited for a game. Maybe since Mario Galaxy. I'm like, yes, that is what I want. Like that was magical. Like that made me feel like a kid again. Not even Breath of the Wild like got me that excited. And I was super stoked for Breath of the Wild. So I mean, I'm with you. If they can hit this, if they hit this out of the park, this could be huge. You know, I don't know if they'll do it yet, but it looks.
If it can be a return to like what 64 was and what that feeling was of exploring that world and finding secrets and how different environments were, that's gonna be fucking impressive. Let alone the fact that like if they can hit it and make it be what we think we remember 64 being, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of, I mean that kind of brings up a good point too, or a secondary point is this is following Breath of the Wild now. Yeah. We've already had like Mario 64 when it came out was a breath of fresh air because it was open, it was huge, it was 3D. We've had that before now. We just had the biggest version of that in Breath of the Wild. So it is going to be weird that we're having a Mario come out in the same vein as Mario 64, which I feel like was almost a predecessor to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So I don't know. In some ways, could it be a step back, perhaps? It's a different focus, of course. It's a platforming versus adventuring, but
yeah. And I mean that's the thing, even the Sonic 06 looking level where they're in what's it called, New Donk City.
New Donk City.
It's like seeing the trailer. It is super cool seeing him kind of like be all acrobatic and around the real looking world. But I'm interested in the platforming aspects of it because when you're in the city, it's like level design, it needs to be designed in a way to make it fun to traverse it, right?
Yeah.
And like I think that with the Mario 64, that was the least entertaining part of the game was the platforming of it. It was way more about exploring
That's
everything.
true.
And I think that we've gotten between Galaxy 1 and 2, 3D Land, 3D World, we've gotten so much like perfect platforming that this is totally just going to be the bigger exploration things. But then with games like Ukulele and like all that recently, where it is a bit more of the collectathon-y explore, I don't know. I'm really interested. There's no game I'm more excited for than Odyssey, but there's no game that I think might disappoint me more than Odyssey.
Especially now that we are coming off the Ukulele. I know some people are loving that game. I was a little bit let down by it. I
haven't played it.
I mean, I went through Nick's Let's Play with him and then did a Draft House Let's Play.
Actually, watch that. That's right.
Yeah, and so like I don't think this is gonna have the same problem because I think Ukulele's problem was it was too traditional. Whereas already having New Donk City and doing these different things, I think they're gonna understand where they need to take Galaxy and they need to take 64 and find this middle ground or combine them and make a beautiful baby. I don't think it's gonna be the same. The text popping up, I'm like, all right, well, this is exactly what I think they're gonna nail. How to platform around that city. I think the city is going to be designed that way to make you want to wall jump and feel like you've achieved something and get up there.
It looks
take
like
off your hat and wipe your brow.
It's a jungle gym, right?
Yeah,
I just hope, because I'm saying like Mario 64, one of my favorite games of all time. It is one of the few games that I go back to and play like every couple of years, and it is still fun. But when you play through it, like there's a lot of things where I'm like, oh man, like it is a chore to play Rainbow Cruise, right? And I try to 100% that level because the camera works so against you because that is one of the few platforming levels.
That's true.
In that game, and it stands out versus the Lethal Lava Land or the more like open one, like all
Shifting Sand Lands.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so we'll see. Very excited about that. The big questions of the franchises: Metroid, F-Zero, Star Fox. Are we going to see any of these and when?
Star Fox, no. I think Metroid. I mean, it depends what Retro's doing. I think we will see Retro's game. If it's Metroid,
wait, E3?
At E3, okay. Yeah, sorry. But so I actually have no idea if it's Metroid or not. If they're not working on it, I don't think we'll see Metroid. Wow. Yeah.
That's crazy.
The time's come. You're getting a Metroid.
Yeah, I mean, it will come.
What's funny is it's like, and again, it's Nintendo and it's hype and all that, but I feel like we're going to see Retro's game at E3 this year. I've heard that for 4 years, and so it's just like this is the year that they better. If we don't know what Retro's working on, like that is going to be a big
This has got to be the thing.
This is it.
And if it's Metroid, do you think that it's a Prime reboot or?
It wouldn't be I don't think it'd be a reboot. I don't know if it'd be a true sequel either, but I don't think we'll get a reboot.
Okay.
Yeah, I do want. I mean, I do want a Prime style 3D game though. Like, I mean, it's hard. Like, I felt like Metroid Prime was one of my favorite games. I thought the sequels were good, but they weren't as good as the first. So the question is how do they do what made the first one great again without coming across as too much of the same? So I mean, it's kind of like Mario and Zelda. Like, how do you reimagine this without going full reboot? I feel like, but
I think they announced your Metroid game at E3. And then I think they also, and it's coming next year, 2018, whatever they say. Maybe don't even say a date. And then I think between then and now, more imminently, you'll get a Prime on Switch. That either if it's through eShop or if it's some kind of re-release thing.
Oh, okay. One of the OG ones.
Yeah.
So with the interesting thing with the Switch being the console and the handheld is that means if they do get rid of the 3DS, there's two markets of games where there's the traditionally handheld games and traditionally console games. We're just talking about the console ones. Do you think that we'll get a top-down, more traditional old-school Zelda or a 2D Mario game or a 2D Metroid game?
I think we definitely will. The next Zelda, I think, I think it probably will be a 2D game. So, because I don't think they can deliver another Breath of the Wild style game anytime soon, and they want to keep Zelda going. The question, though, is I think we will still get those smaller scale games like for the 3DS. How do they charge full price for those now, or do they charge what they would have on 3DS? Like, because people are going to compare the next 2D Zelda to Breath of the Wild. Like, why is it $60 as well? When
I think they'll charge the 3DS prices for those.
You think so?
Yeah, and that'll kind of set the cadence of what's happening, right? Like, this is not meant to be Breath of the Wild. This is not meant to be Mario Odyssey. These are games that are smaller experiences.
Yeah. I mean, there's a precedent already with the 1-2 Switch and Super Bomberman.
Which is still overpriced.
It is it's way fucking overpriced.
Yo, milk a cow.
But it is, cheaper than the $60 games.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm very excited about this. I hope that they knock it out of the park with E3. I am very scared that they're not going to, because if they don't now,
it's a constant fear.
Then I'm just like, all right. Then
I think it's going to be a solid fun E3. I'm not setting my expectation. Now, granted, again, I'm not in the shit like you Nintendo fans are. I think it's going to be a good one where it's going to be similar to like a PSX where Adam Boyes is like, we're going to announce a lot of stuff, and I hope that 2 or 3 of the announcements apply to you, and 2 or 3 of the other announcements apply to you, and I think that's how it's going to be. I think they'll have 3 tent poles in there that get you super excited with stuff in the middle, and one of them better be Mario Golf.
You're not getting Mario Golf at E3. You're just simply not.
What if it's just Reggie and he putts and he's like, "Don't worry, we're coming." And then he goes,
maybe, but that'll be the max of it.
He's wearing a little Mario Golf lapel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that was awesome. I love talking about Nintendo. If you want to see more of me talking about Nintendo, click here to subscribe to Kind of Funny Games. If you want to see more about just other stuff that's not video game related, bam, that's just kind of funny. It's a good time too. Patreon, support us there, please. Running out of time. Kevin's giving me the little. See you guys later.